He hung Christmas lights to make his kids smile. That's it. One strand of twinkling red and green left up a few days past New Year's. No vandalism, no noise, no danger. But by noon the next day, a crisp white envelope was taped to his front door. Not a warning, not a reminder. A $500 fine, signed at the bottom by someone who wasn't even on the HOA board. Neighbors started whispering. Cameras appeared pointing at his driveway. Then came the second fine for emotional distress to a board member's dog. Yes, you heard that right. He thought it was a joke until they froze his community pool access, then threatened to lien his house. This wasn't about rules anymore. This was personal. So what do you do when the people supposed to protect your neighborhood become the ones terrorizing you? And what happens when one man decides he's not paying? Jake Reynolds wasn't trying to make a statement. He just wanted a home where his kids could ride bikes down the sidewalk, where the smell of grilled burgers drifted over fences on summer nights, and where holidays felt a little more magical with a few strings of lights in the window. He and his wife Megan had moved into the quiet cul-de-sac of Oak Ridge Estates 2 years earlier, drawn by the manicured lawns, the neighborhood pool, and that brochure promise, a community that feels like family. Their twins, Lily and Noah, loved decorating the front porch for every season. Pumpkins in October, pastel eggs in April. And come December, the house came alive. Icicle lights on the roof, a wreath on the door, and a plastic reindeer that somehow always ended up sideways in the yard. To Jake, it was joy. To the kids, it was tradition. To the HOA, it was a violation waiting to happen. Oak Ridge had rules pages of them, actually, buried in the covenants like landmines under a picnic blanket. Most people never read them. Why would they? They covered things no one thought twice about. Trash can placement, fence heights, paint colors. The kind of petty details that only matter to someone counting. The official policy? Holiday decorations must be removed within 48 hours of New Year's Day. Not around January honest. Not when it feels right. Exactly 48 hours. And the enforcement wasn't automated. It wasn't even voted on. It was decided, judged, really by a 5-person board that met in secret, rarely spoke to residents, and communicated only through stiff, impersonal letters. Jake took the lights down on January 3rd, 3 days late. A weekend had passed. He'd been busy work, sick kids, life. He didn't think twice about it, until he saw the envelope. White, official, corner stamped with the Oak Ridge Estates logo, a tree inside a circle, like some suburban cult. He opened it expecting a notice about the upcoming spring cleanup. Instead it said, violation notice, immediate fine, $500. His first reaction? Laughter. Then disbelief. Then something colder. Because the signature at the bottom wasn't from the HOA president. It was from someone who didn't even live on his side of the neighborhood. And that's when Jake realized this wasn't about lights. This was about power. Jake stared at the $500 fine for 3 full minutes, standing in his foyer with the door still cracked open, the winter wind biting at his back. He read it twice, then a third time. Violation of Section 7.3b, prolonged display of holiday decorations beyond permitted window. There was even a photo attached to his house, the reindeer half tipped over, a single string of lights still glowing faintly in the eaves. Timestamp. January 3, 7, 14 a.m. He laughed again, nervous, sharp. Are you kidding me? Megan came around the corner, drying her hands on a dish towel. What's wrong? He handed her the letter. Her face went still. They can't do this. Of course they can, Jake muttered. They did. He called the HOA office that morning. Left a message. No response. Emailed the board. Got an auto reply. All inquiries are reviewed within 5-7 business days. 5 days? For a fine they slapped on him in hours? By day 3? Another envelope arrived. This one wasn't about lights. It was about his trash cans. Violation. Improper storage of waste receptacles. They were supposed to be hidden from view by 9:00 p.m. on trash day. Jake had rolled them back at 9:17. The HOA had a photo time-stamped 9:08 with the cans still on the curb. Another $250 fine. You've got to be joking, Megan whispered, holding the letter like it was contaminated. Jake wasn't laughing anymore. He went to the next HOA meeting held in the community clubhouse, a beige room with flickering fluorescent lights and folding chairs. He walked in with the 2 notices, ready to talk reason, but the board wasn't interested in conversation. They sat at a long table like judges in a small claims court. The president, a woman named Elaine Whitmore with a tight bun and tighter lips, barely looked at him. When Jake asked why the rules were enforced so harshly, she said, "The covenant is the covenant. We don't make exceptions." "But it's 2 days late on Christmas lights," Jake said, voice rising. "My kids were sick. I forgot." Elaine didn't blink. Intent is irrelevant. Compliance is mandatory. A man beside her tall, silver-haired name tag reading Gregory Vales. Compliance officer leaned forward. "You can appeal, Mr. Reynolds. But the fine must be paid first. Unpaid violations result in liens." Jake left the meeting with his hands clenched, his heart pounding. He paid the $750, but he wasn't done. He started digging. Late that night, laptop glowing on the kitchen table, he pulled up the HOA bylaws, page after page of dense legalese. And there it was, buried in Section 12, something strange. The compliance officer role? Not an elected position. Appointed by the board. No term limits. No oversight. And Gregory Vales had been in that role for 10 years. Jake called a few neighbors. Quietly. "Off the record. Yeah, I've been fined," one said. "For painting my mailbox blue instead of beige." "Me too," another whispered. "$400 for letting my dog bark during a thunderstorm." No one fought back. No one wanted to be next. But Jake did. He filed an official appeal citing undue punishment, lack of due process, and selective enforcement. He attached photos of other homes with decorations still up on January 5th. One even had a full nativity scene in February. The board denied it. Then, the fines escalated. A $150 penalty for unapproved plant species. A sunflower his daughter had planted in a pot. A $300 charge for excessive driveway occupancy because he had his brother's truck parked in the driveway for one night. Each came with a photo. Each arrived within 24 hours. It was like they were watching him. And then cameras. Small black domes appeared on the light poles near his house. Not city cameras, not security for the neighborhood. Positioned deliberately to face his driveway, his front yard. When he asked the HOA, Elaine said, "Surveillance is for community safety." "Since when?" Jake shot back. "There's never been cameras here before." "Since last week," she said coolly. "We're enhancing enforcement capabilities." He felt it then, the chill, the weight. This wasn't about rules anymore. This was about him. Someone on that board didn't like him, and they were using the system to crush him. He stopped sleeping. Megan begged him to let it go. "Just pay it. Keep your head down. It's not worth it." But Jake couldn't, because if he backed down now, they'd win. And the next person, maybe the single mom with the noisy kids, or the elderly man who forgot to trim his hedges, would be next. So he did the one thing they didn't expect. He started recording them. Every meeting, every letter, every fine. He documented it all, dates, times, names. He reached out to a local reporter, sent packets to the state HOA oversight board. And then just as he was about to go public, the phone rang. Unknown number. A man's voice, low. "You should stop digging, Jake. You don't know who you're messing with." The line went dead. His blood turned to ice. He looked out the window. One of the cameras was moving. Slowly, deliberately, swiveling to face his living room. And in that moment, Jake realized this wasn't just a homeowners association. This was a surveillance state, disguised as a suburban neighborhood. And he was now their #1 target. But here's the thing they didn't know. He wasn't backing down. He was just getting started. The town hall meeting was supposed to be routine. Just another quarterly update from the Oak Ridge Estates HOA board budget reports, landscaping schedules, reminders about pool hours, the usual noise, the usual rubber stamp approvals, the usual silence from the residents, heads down, afraid to speak. But tonight was different. Jake Reynolds didn't sit in the back like everyone else. He walked in at 6:58 p.m., briefcase in hand, wearing a crisp blue button-down and a look that said, "I'm not here to listen, I'm here to burn it down." Every chair was taken. Neighbors lined the walls. Some had never attended a meeting before. Others had been fined. All had heard the rumors about the cameras, the midnight fines, the man who dared to fight back. And then there was the video. Because 2 days earlier, Jake had done the unthinkable. He uploaded everything, every fine, every letter, every time-stamped photo the HOA had used against him, alongside side-by-side comparisons of other homes with the exact same violations that had never been penalized. He posted it all to a public Facebook group, then sent it to a local investigative reporter. Within 48 hours, it had 500,000 views. Headlines followed. O or hostile occupation. Family fined. 1,500 for Christmas lights. Local news vans showed up. Reporters stood on his lawn. A state legislator even tweeted about it. Now, the room was electric. The board sat stiffly. A